Okay, good morning, children. So in the last class, we have discussed about different quantum numbers, then shapes of atomic orbitals, then different rules for filling the electrons in different orbitals, right? So which are the different types of quantum numbers? Alan Joshi, can you tell me?
Principal quantum number, asymmetrical quantum number,
Hmm.
magnetic quantum number, spin quantum number.
Very good, spin quantum number. Then what about the shapes of atomic orbitals? What's the shape of s orbital, Elaine? S orbital.
Mama, I don't remember.
Only one orbital there, and it is yes. Can you please guess? No.
ma'am.
Devika, can you
Spherical
tell?
shape.
Yeah, spherical shape. Okay, only one orbital there, and it's in spherical shape. Then how many orbitals are there in P subshell, Nimida? P subshell.
2,
2.
3.
Yeah, it's 3. Okay. Do you remember the names of that orbitals? Unless names of p orbitals. Unmute. Yes. There are 3 p orbitals. Its name. Some issues there. Okay. Niranjan, can you tell me?
Ma'am, I don't remember.
John Philip.
Ma'am, question.
Which are the 3 p orbitals? What's its name?
PX, PY, PZ.
Yeah, that's it. There are 3 axes. So px, py, pz. Then how many orbitals are there for d subshell, Shabari? D.
5.
Yeah, 5. Okay. Then we are moving to the rules for filling these electrons in different orbitals. Okay. Rules for filling electrons in different orbitals. I think we already discussed the first rule, right, children? Aufbau principle.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I will repeat it once again. First, we learned about electronic configuration. Electronic configuration means the distribution of electrons into different orbitals. It is known as electronic configuration. You know that all elements have their own electrons. That means hydrogen has only 1 electron. Oxygen, there are 8 electrons. So according to their number of electrons, they are filled into different orbitals, right? So this distribution of electrons into different orbitals, it is known as electronic configuration. So this electronic configuration, it is ruled by certain principles. First one is known as Aufbau principle. Aufbau principle. And according to this principle, in the ground state of the atoms, the orbitals are filled in order of their increasing energies. Electrons must be filled in these orbitals according to the increasing order of their energies. Each orbital has their own energy. So according to the increasing order of their energies, we are going to fill the electrons into different orbitals. So this is the statement of Aufbau principle. Have you completed this slide in the last class, children? Yes, right? Yes. And I told you this is the order here. 1s, it is less than 2s, then 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, then 3d. There is one exception in the order here. 4s is less than 3d. I will tell you the reason for this. Okay. So you have to follow this order. 1s. You can remember like this. In the first shell, only 1s. Second one, 2s and 2p. And the third one, 3s, 3p, 3d. And the fourth one, 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f. But here, the order of their increasing energy, it starts from 1s, then 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p. After 3p, we are moving to 4s. After 4s, then 3d, 4p, 5s, like that. And the reason for this variation in their energy in the case of 4s and 3d, it is based on one rule. Have you copied this order of energy?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you? Yes, right? Then the reason for this. Rule 1. An orbital with a lower value for n plus L has lower energy. Okay? An orbital with a lower value for n plus L has lower energy. So we are going to compare this 4s orbital and 3d orbital. Okay? 4s and 3d. So what's the n value of 4s? N value of 4s? Alantina, what's the n value of 4s?
4.
4. Then what about L value of 4s? Sarah, L value? Here it is yes. So what about the L value?
1.
Yeah?
1.
Is it 1 or 0?
0, 0, 0.
Yeah, 0. So here L value, that is 0. So the n plus L, that is equal to 4, right? N plus L, that is equal to 4. Then we are moving to 3D. What about the n value? Alina? Alina, Jason, can you tell me the n value of 3D?
3.
Yeah, it's 3. Then we are moving to the L value. John Jose, what about the L value of 3D?
Ma'am, 2.
Yeah, very good. It's 2. So this n plus L, that is equal to 5. So when we compare this 4s and 3D orbital, this 4s has lower energy compared to 3D. That's why we are following the order 1s, 2s, 2p, then 3s, 3p, then 4s, 3d. Okay, when comparing 4s and 3d, this 4s has lower energy than 3d. That's why we are writing this 4s orbital before 3d in the increasing order of their energies. Okay, so that's the reason. According to rule 1, an orbital with a lower value for n plus L has lower energy. For example, the 4s orbital, n plus L, that is equal to 4 orbital. And its n plus L value, that is 3 plus 2 equal to 5. This is rule number 1. It is based on n plus L value. The n value, it is obtained from the main shell, and the L value, it is obtained from the that means subshells. Subshells are S, P, D, and F. And you have to remember the value starting from 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's the first rule. This is clear, children? First one.
Yes.
Yes. Then we are moving to the second rule. If the value of n plus L is same for two orbitals, if the value of n plus L is same for two orbitals, then the orbital with lower value of n will be filled first. That's the second rule. If the value of n plus L is same for two orbitals, then the orbital with lower value of n will be filled first. So we are just considering two examples, 3D and 4P. 3D and 4P. So here the n value, that is 3, right? Then the L value, that is equal to 2. So here the n plus L, that is 5, right? 3 plus 2, that is 5. 5. Then we are moving to 4p. Here the n value is 4. Then the L value, it's 1, right? Because here it is p orbital. So the n plus L, that's also equal to 5. So here the value of n plus L is same for 3D and 4p. In this case, we are considering the value of n. Okay, that means the lower value of n will be filled first. Here comparing 3D and 4p, 3D has lower value for n, right? It is 3. So we will fill this 3D, then we are moving to 4p. So these are main two rules for the increasing order of the energy of orbitals. First one, an orbital with a lower value of n plus L has lower energy. An orbital with a lower value for n plus L has lower energy. And the rule 2, if the value of n plus L is same for two orbitals, then the orbital with lower n value will be considered first.
Ma'am,
Yeah, Emmeline?
will you repeat rule 2?
Yes. If the value of n plus L is same, consider these two examples, 3D and 4p. When we calculate the n plus L, both have the n plus L value 5, right? So, in the case of these two orbitals with the same n plus L value, the lower value of L will be filled first. So, in these two examples, 3D has lower n value. It is 3, right? So, we will fill 3D, then moving to 4p. So, the order is 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3D, 4p, like that. This is clear? Yes, right? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's Aufbau principle. Do you remember the statement of Aufbau principle, children? Nimita, can you tell me? What is Aufbau principle?
In the ground state of atoms, the orbitals are filled with, in order of their increasing energies.
Yes. So the electron filling, it's in the order of their increasing energies. And you have to remember the order of the orbitals. Okay, increasing order of energies of orbitals. Shall I move to second principle, second rule? Have you completed this, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt, anyone? In the first rule? Nothing, right? So the second one is known as Pauli's exclusion principle. Pauli's exclusion principle. Pauli's exclusion principle. This is the second rule for filling electrons in an orbital. So the statement of this Pauli's exclusion principle, no two electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. We have learned about principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic orbital quantum number, spin quantum number, right? No two electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. That means each electron is specific. They do not have all the 4 quantum number values same. Okay. If any 3 values are same, then the fourth one will be different. No two electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. Sometimes if n value, L value and m value are same, but there must be difference in spin. Because you have to remember that point, in each orbital, the maximum number of electron, it is 2, right? And I told you, in each orbital, if there are 2 electrons, one should be in the spin of plus half and the other should be in the spin of minus half. One is in plus half and the other one is in minus half. That's why this rule states that no 2 electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. Only 2 electrons may exist in the same orbital. That's the maximum capacity of each orbital. This is considered as s orbital, only 2 electrons here. Then we are considering p subshell, there are 3 orbitals. In p subshell, there are 3 orbitals. and in each one maximum capacity is 2. Okay, so only 2 electrons may exist in the same orbital, and these electrons must have at least opposite spin. Okay, so I'm repeating this principle once again. No 2 electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. If the principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, and magnetic orbital quantum number are same, then the spin quantum number will be different. Okay. Since an electron in an orbital must have same value of n, l, and m, it follows that it can have 2 values of ms. What do you mean by ms? That is spin quantum number, as either plus half or minus half. As either plus half or minus half. So when you write the quantum numbers of 2 electrons in the same orbital, if n equal to 1, l equal to 0, ml equal to 0. But you must write here ms, here it is plus half. And in the second one, the ms must be equal to minus half. So at least one value will be different. So this is the second rule. It is known as Pauli's exclusion principle. No 2 electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. Only 2 electrons may exist in the same orbital, and these electrons must have opposite spin.
Ma'am,
Yes.
4 entrance students last chemistry class was marked as red. So we didn't understand the questions. We didn't write the questions.
Which questions?
Last class, which was marked as red in timetable.
Yeah, I think the next period for those students for in Saturday, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I will repeat the same points that we had discussed in the last class. Okay. It's about the shapes of atomic orbitals. Okay. Who is that?
I'm Joel, ma'am.
Okay, Joel.
Ma'am, can you repeat the third point?
Third point. Yes. Since an electron in an orbital, that means I told you the maximum capacity of each orbital, 2 electrons. Okay. Since an electron in an orbital must have the same value of n. If we are considering this as 1s orbital. Okay, 1s orbital. Both the electrons, their n value is 1, right? Then their L value is 0. And they are in same orbital. So their ML value also same, right? Because for the n value equal to 1, the ML value is also 0, right? Then there should be difference in the spin. One has plus half and the other one has minus half. That's it. Clear? Even if 3 quantum numbers are same, the fourth one must be different. Clear? Yes. Shall I move to next slide, children? Finish, right?
Yes.
Yes. Then there is one more point from this Pauli's exclusion principle. The maximum number of electrons in the shell with principal quantum number n is equal to 2n squared. Okay, the maximum number of electrons in the shell with principal quantum number n is equal to 2n squared. This is the equation to find out the maximum number of electrons in each shell. We have learned K shell, then L shell, M shell, N shell, etc. And do you remember the n values, children? For K it is 1, L it is 2, M it is 3, N equal to 4. Then we are going to find out the maximum number of electrons in each shell. So here it is 2n square, 2n square, 2n square. So what's the maximum number of electrons in K shell? Meryl, can you tell me by substituting this 1 in this equation?
Four.
We are substituting 1 in this equation, 2n square. So 2 into 1 square, right? Yeah,
Two.
2, yes. So the maximum capacity of this shell is 2. And you can connect it also with the subshell. There is only one subshell there, 1s, right? And it has maximum capacity 2. Okay. Then we are moving to next shell, L. Here the n value is 2. So Emmeline, can you tell me the maximum number of electrons in L shell?
8.
8, right? 2 into 2 square. So it is 8. So when we are looking for the subshells, it is 2s2 and 2p6. 2s2 and 2p6. This is the maximum capacity. In S shell, the maximum number of electrons is 2. And P shell, there are 3 orbitals. In each orbital, 2 electrons. That's why 3 into 2, 6. Okay? This is clear, children? In S orbital, only one orbital is there. So the maximum number of electrons, it is 2. In P subshell, there are 3 orbitals, Px, Py, Pz. So in each orbital, there are 2 electrons. So 3 into 2, 6. Okay, then we are moving to M shell. Niranjan, can you tell me the maximum number of electrons in M shell?
Ma'am, 18.
Yeah, 2 into 3 square. 3 square 9, then 9 into 2, 18. So here it is 3s2, then 3p6, 3d10. This is the maximum capacity of 3 shell, 3 main shell, okay? That means the M shell. And here S orbital, S shell or S subshell, there is only one orbital. Maximum number of electrons in S orbital, that is 2. In P, there are 3 orbitals. In each orbital, maximum number of electrons 2. So 3 into 2, 6. And do you remember how many orbitals are there in D subshell, children? D. D.
Five.
Yes, 5. Yes, 5. And in each orbital, there are 2 electrons. So 5 into 2, 10. Then we are moving to N shell. So what about the maximum capacity of N shell? Lakshmi? Lakshmi? Yeah. Yes?
32.
Yes, 32. So you can write here 4s2, 4p6, 3d10, sorry, 4d10. Then next one is 4f. What's the maximum number of orbitals in F subshell? It is 7. Okay. So here 7 into 2, 40. So this is the equation to find out the maximum number of electrons in each shell. 2n square. Okay, 2n square. This is clear, children?
Yes.
Any doubt here? Mary Angelina, what's the equation to find out the maximum number of electrons in each shell? Can you hear me? Shreya? Yes. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Tell me.
Ma'am, 2n square.
Once again.
2n square.
Okay. Okay. 2n square. 2n square is the equation to calculate the maximum number of electrons in each shell. Shall I move to next slide, children? Yes. Then the third rule, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. And according to this rule, pairing of electrons in the orbitals belonging to the same subshell, that is P, D or F, does not take place until each orbital belonging to that subshell has got one electron each. That is, it is singly occupied. Okay, I will explain that. When you are considering, yes, P subshell, okay, P subshell. How many orbitals are there in P subshell? P. Tell me, 3, right? So we can draw this 3 orbitals like this. 3 orbitals. I told you the maximum capacity of each orbital is 2 electrons, right? So when you are writing the electronic configuration of carbon, what's its atomic number? Carbon, atomic number?
6.
6, right? So we can write its electronic configuration like this. 1s2, the maximum number of electrons in first shell, S subshell is 2. Then 2s2, right? Then 2p. How many electrons are remaining there? Already 4 electrons filled. Then to 2p, how many electrons are there?
2.
Aditya? Yes. 2s, 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 2, right? 2p2. So there are 2 electrons here. There is 2 possibility for filling electrons in this p subshell. Okay, p subshell. You can either fill this electrons like this or you can fill like this. There are 2 options there. 2p, only 2 electrons. You can add 1 electron in each orbital or you can fill 2 electrons in same orbital itself. There are 2 choices. But according to this Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, you should follow this order. Okay? Only after the pairing of single electrons in each orbital, you can fill the next one. Okay? That is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. The same method is followed in D subshell also. There are 5 orbitals there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If there are 6 electrons in this D subshell, you should follow the order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6. There is another option here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But this method is wrong and this one is right. After singly occupied in each orbital, you can follow the next, you can follow the filling of electrons in the same orbital. Okay, that's the meaning of Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Then we can just read this statement of Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. According to this rule, pairing of electrons in the orbitals belonging to the same subshell, that is P, D or F. In the case of S orbital, there is only 1 orbital there. So only after filling the 1 electron, we can fill the electron in the same orbital itself, right? But in the case of P, D or F subshells, The pairing of electrons in the orbitals belonging to the same subshell does not take place until each orbital belonging to that subshell has got one electron. After the completion of one electron in each orbital, we can move to the second electron in the same orbital. Okay, that is, it is singly occupied. That is, it is singly occupied. And you can write this example also. For example, the 6 electrons in carbon atom are distributed as 1s2, 2s2, then 2px1, 2py1, not as 1s2, 2s2, 2px2. Here these p electrons are again classified into 3, px, py and pz, right? So this method is correct. This one is wrong. And you should also draw this figure, okay? 1s, 2s, 2p. This method is correct and this one is wrong. So these three are the main important rules for filling electrons in different orbitals. First one, Aufbau principle. Second one, Pauli's exclusion principle. And the third one is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. Eva, can you please state this rule, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity?
Yes, ma'am. According to this rule, pairing of electrons in orbitals belonging to the same subshell, P, D, or F, does not take place because belonging to that subshell does not have an electron each, that it is singly occupied.
Okay. All of you switch on your videos. This is clear, children? Have you completed the third rule?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Shall I move to next slide?
No, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Finished, right, Adulya?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then the electronic configuration of elements. We are going to write the electronic configuration of each element. The electronic configuration of different atoms can be represented in two ways. There are two ways for the representation of this electrons in different orbitals. First one, SPD notation. That means filling the electrons in different subshells. Okay, SP, DF, etc. And the second method is through orbital diagram. First one through subshell notations and the second one through orbital diagram. The electronic configuration of different atoms can be represented in two ways. First method, SPDZ notation, and the second one is orbital diagram. Orbital diagram means like this. 1s, 2s, then 2p, like that. This is the orbital diagram method. Now you learned the three major rules for filling of electrons. And these two are the ways for representing or distributing the electrons into different orbitals. Okay, now you all are capable of writing the electronic configuration of all elements. So we are going to write the electronic configuration of elements using these two methods, okay? SPD notation and orbital diagram. This A, B, C stands for the number of electrons, okay? Small letter A, B, C, etc. stands for the number of electrons. So are you ready to write the electronic configuration of elements, children? Finish, right? Adulya, only need to write these portions. This one already written. Finish, right? Yes. So we are going to write the electronic configuration. We can start from hydrogen, right? Hydrogen. What about the atomic number of hydrogen?
1.
Yes, 1. So how can we write the electronic configuration? In SPDC notation, SPDF notation, you write the main shell here, then the subshell, and the number of electron, 1s1. And you can draw the orbital diagram, 1s, only 1 electron. Okay. Then the second one is helium. Atomic number of helium,
2.
it's 2. So 1s2. And you have to remember 2 is the maximum capacity of S subshell. And we can draw it in orbital diagram, 1s, 2 electrons, one in upward direction and other should be drawn in downward direction. Okay, that's related to spin. 1 electron in plus half spin and other one in minus half. One in anti-clockwise and one in clockwise directions. That's why we are showing this arrows opposite. Then, okay, tell me the atomic number of carbon. Tushar, carbon.
It's 3.
No, 3 for lithium.
Ma'am, I don't remember.
Naurin, can you tell me? Yeah, it's 6. So how can we write the configuration? 1s2, then 2s2. Now already 4 electrons are filled. You have to remember in s orbital, the maximum number of electrons is 2. Okay, so 1s2, then 2s2, 2p. How many electrons are there in 2p?
2.
2, yes. 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. So we can draw the orbital diagram. 1s2. Then the next one is 2s2. And the third one is 2p2. You have to remember the third rule, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So you can draw like this. Then we can discuss the remaining electronic configuration of elements in the next class. Okay, now it's time, right? Okay. Now let me take your attendance. All of you switch on your videos. Okay, then all of you read this portion very well. If you have any doubt in any rule, you can ask me in the next class. Okay, then we can write the electronic configuration of remaining elements in the next class. Then thank you all. Bye. See you in the next class.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.